All right, all right. I'm gonna wait until more people get in the room. I thank everybody for um, checking in. Please do me a favor and let me know if you can hear me by typing a one in the chat room. Give it a few minutes and we'll wait on some other people. I don't know how many people are going to come, but this is my first time doing a live stream. I want to say, who we got here? Hello to Sorrel and hello to Larry. It's type of one. Thank you. I think that's Keeper, Larry, Casper. Thank you guys. All right. Since this is my first time and I don't even know if like notifications go out or whatever, we're going to get started. What I wanted to do was I wanted to do a live. I wanted to try this for the first time. I've never done it before, so I wanted to give it a try. So what we're going to do today, we're just going to, I wanted to answer your questions concerning Radio DJ. So I think the first question I see here is from Is This Real Media? How does one use the online listener function? Okay. In this version of Radio DJ, version 2006, there is a function in here that allows you to grab the listeners. However, the problem with that function is the encoder must be able to output the listeners to a text file. Let me show what I mean. And I see here in StreamYard, you can't really zoom in on anything. I hope you can see my cursor. As you see down here in the bottom left corner, you see where it says online listeners 0 of 0. All right. So how do I get listeners into that? That's a couple of ways to do that. But first of all, how you set it up. So I'm gonna go to options by clicking on the options key. Boy, this is tiny to me. Let me see. And I'm going to click on plugins. And then under plugins, I'm gonna go to the history plugin, double click on it, and you will see right here where it says show listener count. So if I take that off and hit close, you notice down here in the corner, it disappears. I'm gonna click on it again, and then I'm gonna select to show it. Hit close, and then it shows again. Now, what is it? What it's looking for? It's looking for a text file. And this text file can be anywhere on your computer that you set up. Currently, it's looking for a text file on the G drive. Let me see if that's even still there anymore because I did a lot of different setups. No, it's not even there. So let's go back and point to that file. Okay, here it is, a text file called listener count.txt. All right, now you notice as soon as I did that, you see the number jump up to 1915. That is because if I go to that text file and open it up, you will see the value inside of the text file. I hope everybody can see that. Let me see. You will see this value right here, 1915. So if I change this value to say 2700 and I hit save and go back over here to Radio DJ, you'll see that it updated to 2700. Now that is the way the version 2.0 and above work. But the problem is none of the encoders will spit out how many listeners you have to a text file. So BUT doesn't do it, SECaster doesn't do it, RMB Recaster doesn't do it. If you know of an encoder that does that, let me know. I don't know of an encoder that does that. So how do you get your listeners from your Shoutcast or Icecast server? Well, what I had to do, I had to write the software to do it. and it doesn't work with everything. Um, Let me go over to the store. It doesn't work with everything. Like Xeno Radio, it doesn't work with. Let's go over here to broadcast software tools. And it's called Shoutcast Listener. What's it? Grabber, I think is what it's called. And the other one is Icecast Listener Grabber. I have been working on something because if you're anything like me, I might have multiple servers for every, um, for every stream that I'm running. So I haven't figured out yet, software wise, how to make these guys count all of them together. So, like, if I got one stream going to a server that's Icecast and another stream for that same station going to another, say, Shoutcast server, how to get them all together, joined together. So what I had to do was I had to create a software, and what the software does is it just simply it goes to your Shoutcast server and gets the number of listeners, and it actually updates this file so that you can get the online listeners. That's the only way I know to get it. Until these people that um, make these encoders, until they add that into the encoder, that's the only way that I know to do it. The other question I see here by Larry is, I'm looking for help regarding the SayTime plugin. Okay. All right, so let's go. This is 2006, and I have it in this folder, 2006. All right. In the plugins folder, you're going to have a folder that says plugin underscore SayTime or SayTime. Now, it changed from version 1.82 when it got over to version 2, it changed. And so you have to make sure. What I did was I put both of them. I put a folder in there that says SayTime, and then I put another plugin folder that says plugin underscore SayTime. One works with version 2.0, another one works with the versions before that. And inside of that is where you will find those audio files, those SayTime audio files, okay? And you can copy one one to the other. Okay, and then they have these on RadioDJ.ro where you can actually go and download these files. All right, so how do you set this thing up? Because by default, it's not set up. So what you want to do is you want to go into the disabled plugins folder. And inside of the disabled plugins folder is a folder called plugin SayTime. So you would go into that. You would grab this DLL, I'm going to copy it. You would back out of that and go back over to the main plugins folder and paste it. It's already in there, so I'll just skip that for here. All right. So now, once you have done that, you will have to restart RadioDJ. And once you restart RadioDJ, you're going to go over to Options and Plugins. And you should see the SayTime plugin option here. All right. So we can double click on that. And the only option they give you is 10, an option of 10. I'm trying to remember on the older version. Let me go back to options and options. On the older version, you had a tab. I don't use it this way. You have a tab that lets you do it. Oh, there it is right there. Okay. So I went to options and I'm going to go to options, and the last tab at the top says plugins. So when I click on that, no, not that one. I'm sorry. The other settings plugin. This table right here lets you decide what goes on this bottom list here. Right now, I have track manager, playlist builder, folder sync, now I'm playing info, and utilities. So I'm going to go ahead and add the SayTime over down below. So I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to hit this left arrow key so that the SayTime will now become one of the options down here on the bottom. So when I click on that, see what it's going to do, because I haven't used this one. I wonder if, let me see. Version 206. I'm not sure on them. Let me go to the events. See if I can make it do it to the events. So let me go to the events, click on the plus sign. I'm gonna call this say time test, or just say time. And I'm gonna go down here for my action, because I don't even know if it's set up properly on this one. So I'm gonna go down here to select plugin action. When I highlight that, over here, available plugins becomes available. So now I want to scroll down through here and look for the say time. All right, I see one that says schedule our announcements, and I see one that says say time voiceover, schedule announcement, and lowers the music volume. So you have two options. You have one that I think loads into the queue, and then the other one just say the time over the top of whatever's playing. So I'm gonna choose the first one. I'm gonna try that one first. I haven't done that on this one. So let's do, I'll leave it like that. And it's currently 5:12. So let's do 5:12:55 and see if we can get it in there in time. Okay, 20 something seconds. So let's see what this thing is going to do. Let me make sure this is connected. My audio is not connected. So that's not going. That's why I couldn't hear it. Let me go find out what's going on with my audio. I should be hearing that out of my Behringer. Hold on. Yeah, we got a problem. Houston, we are having a problem. Let's see. Hit the play button. Oh, it's skipping over stuff. Okay, let me exit out of RadioDJ and start it back up. RadioDJ is real tricky with these sound cards. See if I can get something going in there. Okay, there we go. Bring this back over. Okay. Start that. All right, so now if I hit the say time,
it's 17:13.
So it does it automatically if you got the.
It's 17:13.
When it brings it down, when you show it here. But let's go back to our little scheduler and let's see. Let's set it up from here. It is 13 after. I don't know the seconds. I just 5. Oh, missed it. Missed it. Let's go 14. I'll get ahead of it in the future. All right, we got 39 seconds. So as long as that folder is in the right place, and like I say, inside the plugins, I have one that says plugin _ say time and one that says say time, because the older versions, I think the older versions, it was say time. And now in version 2.0, it has to be the folder that says plugin _ say time. That was the main difference. And those files will go into that folder. So let's see what happens. Now this one, I think it puts it in the queue. I can't remember. This is the first option under plugins. Plugin actions. So let's see what this does.
It's 17:14.
Okay, so it plays it. Now let's see if it does it like over music. I know the other one does. Let me just throw some of these tracks in here. Get them going. We're gonna do it again. So it's 15 after. Change this to 15. And the time is 36 seconds. Okay. I know one jumps in front of the music, the other one lowers the music and play it over the top. I prefer that one. I prefer the one that lowers the music in the event actions. So I'm gonna go back and show you how to set that up. All right, here we go.
It's 17:15.
Okay. So she didn't lower, that one did not lower the music. It just plays right over the top. So let's change it. So that first plug-in action plays it right over the top. I did not hear it lower the music. So let me select the second plug-in action, the one that says it lowers the volume. Again, our action is going to be plug-in actions. This opens up a whole plethora of all kinds of goodies that RadioDJ can do. And I'm going to select the second one. The first one, that's what we just did. So I'm going to do the second one right here and add that. It's like a voiceover. So it's 16 after. I don't know how far into that we are. Let's see if I catch it. 5 seconds. Here we go.
It's 17:16.
Okay. So the two options you have, one will play over the music, but it won't lower it. And then the other one it will lower the music and play it. Again, to make this work, you need to, inside of your RadioDJ's folder, inside the plugins folder, you need to have two things. You need to have the plugin saytime.dll. It does not come with it, so you have to get it under disabled plugins. You have to choose that one. Go in there and grab that DLL, copy it, paste it into this plugins folder. The other thing you have to have is a folder inside the plugins folder called plugin_saytime and saytime. Now I'm going to see if I can test this. I'm going to rename this. I think it's this one. I'm going to put a 1 on the end if it'll let me. Okay. And see if it'll say the time. Okay. So it will not let me say the time. So the name of that folder inside of plugins has to be plugin_saytime for that to work. And of course, in there is the files that you can download from RadioDJ.ro from their download page, and it has all the audio files or you can make your own. A lot of times I make my own. They just have to be named exactly the same as this, exactly the same way. Don't make any changes. And you can use your own voice or your own personalities on your radio stations. All right, so I hope that answers the question on how to do the Saytime plugin. Let's see what else we got in our chat. So you're still in 182. This is for Casper. Any plans on getting a stable encoder shoutcast possibly in version 2.0? I'm still using 182 because I don't get stable external programs. When you say stable external programs, are you talking encoders? Casper, are you talking encoders? And then, Casper, while you get that, Larry, you're asking about the text. It does work in the same way. You have to go, if you want to do the text to speech, it works pretty much almost the same way, not quite. So we're going to go into disabled folder, and we want to get this plugin called TTS. They give you some templates to use, okay? And they give you the XML. So I don't have this in there, so let's add it. So I'm going to copy all 3 of those. And I'm going to go back to the plugins folder and paste those guys in there. Well, I guess I did have that in there. Let's do that. Yeah, I know it's open already. Okay. So let's look at, because I used to use the TTS, and it was doing it too much for me, so I don't use it. So let me go and see if that's over here under options and other settings. Yes, it is right here. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna add it so we have access to it to the bottom down here. And y'all have to bear with me. I haven't used the TTS in a long time. So I'm gonna click on it. I'm not gonna get anything. Okay, so let me go over to options and plugins and the TTS. See, oh, the zone. Oh, okay, the zone. Okay, it's in zone 3. You can put it in the zone you want. I'm gonna put this in zone 2. I can't remember I don't remember what this thing looked like because I don't use it. So by putting it in zone 2, it now shows up here in the middle right here. This is zone 2. So when I click on it, yes. Text to speech comments. I think you gotta select that. And you have to select what voice you want to use, okay? And you have your volume and how fast. It says enabled or disabled, so okay. I'm trying to remember how to do this guy right here. Let's see. Right to left reading order, show Unicode characters, open mime, and insert core character. I'm trying to remember how do you get the text over there into that? Let's see. Because I haven't used this guy in a long time. Oh, speak track comments. I don't want that. I think that puts comments into tracks. Oh boy, it's been a long. I should have brushed up on that one because I figured somebody was going to ask me that question and throw me off. Okay. It's not here. Oh, it is here. No, that's the teaser plugin. I don't know if any of you guys use a teaser plugin. That thing is awesome. Just takes a lot of work. Okay. So now let me go back to that folder that says templates. All right. So in here we have time, request, and news. So let me open up the news. I'm just trying to remember how to trigger this thing. It's now, is it by an event? It might be by an event. Let me go down here and make a new event. And again, we're going to go to our plugin options. Oh, it is down here. Okay. Speak text as an argument. Speak from a template. Enable it or disable it. So let's do, I don't know, text as an argument. So under plugin options, if you select plugin action, TTS speak text as an argument, then what happens is it gives you the argument, but the path open. No, it doesn't. Okay, so let's see what this does. Type in, this is a live text to speech example. See what happens. And again, we put in TTS. It is 24 after. I'm not sure. Let's go 25 and 30. Okay, 47 seconds. Let's see what happens because I haven't used TTS in a very long time. It's a good thing to use, and you can also download new voices for Microsoft, so you can get more naturalistic sounding voices if you buy some more voices and add them to your Windows machine. So we're counting down to the TTS to see if it's going to do what I typed in for it to do. And then the other one is to grab it from a template file. I think it's coming back to me now.
This is a live text-to-speech example.
Okay. It's coming back to me now how this used to work because I used to play with it. All right, so now we saw that we can actually make an event that will say what we want it to say at a specific time. But as you can see, you can't go in there and edit that. Okay. So the best way to do these text to speech is to use a file. So I'm gonna go back down to plugin actions, and I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna choose from a template. And it's because it says use a file name as the argument. So when use the file name. So I have to know what the file name is. So let's say news. All right. I'm not sure if you have to do the XML or not, or just the word news. Let's see what happens because it's been a minute. And it is 26 after. Ooh, I'm probably gonna miss that. Let's go 27. Hopefully I got it right. Let's see what happens. Now in that news file, let's see what's in there. I think we just looked at that a second ago. Yeah, I put some time stuff in. I think I was testing something out. Yeah, it's gonna say it's the time minutes for the next 15 minutes. We will listen to the more. Okay, so that's what's in that template. See what it's gonna do. And in this case, I used an event plugin action, and I said use a file, and so it's looking at this news file. Let's see what happens. Nothing. Okay, so that means I did something wrong. So let me go back over to the event. And of course, we can't edit it, so I got to redo it. I couldn't remember if I had to add the XML to the end of it or just the word. I couldn't remember. So let's see. So we're doing TTS, speak from text to speech from a file. And let's just put in news. I can't remember. And it is 28 after. We're probably too far gone. Let's go 29. Oh, we got a whole minute. All right. So while that's waiting, Casper, I use SC Caster. It's very stable. It does Shoutcast, Icecast 1 and 2. I also use have you tried Butt? Butt has made some major improvements in the latest version. So I don't know what you're using as to why you can't get it to be stable going to 2.0, Shoutcast 2.0. It should be stable. Now, I will tell you, some companies, they kept upgrading that Shoutcast DNS, and they found out it had problems and buggy. So some companies rolled back to the earlier version because they kept upgrading, and the latest version was not actually working right. So make sure that's not your issue. I would contact the streaming company and say, hey, can you roll me back and try that and see if that works? And if they're not willing to work with you, find somebody else that is. But I do remember that Shoutcast 2.0, it was like the latest version had a lot of bugs in it, and it was causing problems. Okay, I didn't hear anything on that one. I gotta figure out how to do that. I used to know how to do it, getting it from a text file. Try this again. Arguments, I wonder if I got a point. File name as argument. Let me look at that real quick. I don't remember. Let's put the path in there. I don't think that's gonna do it. News.xml. Let's put the computer path to that file. I don't remember. I don't know if capitalization was important either. Go to news. I just couldn't remember what the arguments were. I used to do this a long time ago, but I stopped using it because I didn't like it, what it was doing. It is now 31 after. Let's try 31:55. Maybe we can catch it. Okay, we got it. 45 seconds. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Version 182 did have if you can find it, it has a guy developed a plugin that allowed you to stream directly from within RadioDJ. I loved it. To me, 182 was the most stable, the best version. But there's so many new features in 2.0, I had to have 2.0. So it's possible that plugin, since it's no longer being developed, it's possible it's having issues. I got to find out what's up with that. I can't get the text-to-speech to pull from a text file. Or is it just not? Let me get a song going. Maybe I lost something here. Let me see.
It's 17:32.
I gotta figure out what's going on with that text to speech. So he said the butt crashed. I haven't seen the latest version of butt, but I haven't used it. I've seen it and I was pretty impressed with it. So are you talking about the latest version, Casper? Or are you talking about a older version of butt? I do remember I didn't like butt, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna show you what I use. It's a Russian company. See if I can find it real quick. Now, MB Recaster, do I have to install this or can I just run it? I think I can just run it. It's a good one, but I don't know, it bugs out too much for me. But it's a good one as well. This is called MB Recaster. I don't know if they have a new version of it or not, but this is another standalone. I like it because it can capture from the input or the output, but this one throws a lot of errors. So this is why I don't use MB Recaster. Just Google MB Recaster to find out more about that. I use SC Caster. Let's see if I can find it real quick. And while I'm looking for that, does anybody have any other questions? Broadcast 2, there we go. This one is pretty rock solid. SC Caster. I really, really like it. It's pretty rock solid. You can do Shoutcast 1 and 2, Icecast. I don't know what directly is. I don't think we have enough bandwidth on our home networks to deal with that. But this thing, I tried this email thing. It works. It's a little tricky to get set up in this thing. This thing can email you when the server's not working right. But I don't use it because it's too much to set it up. But this is what I use, and you can get it, as you see, is capturing my input. You can get it from the input or you can get it from the output. And if you want the cleanest, I do mean the cleanest sound from Radio DJ, if you're going to use this or Bud or any of them, capture it from the output. Plus, also, if you use the input, then you're going to have to use something like Voice Meter Banana in order to get audio into the encoder. So I like to grab it from the output. And another reason why I grab from the output is because I use the input button. You know, I use the input button on Radio DJ. And of course, as you can hear that delay. That's what everybody hates. So what I do when it comes to that, I just turn the music down. You know, I can hear it a little bit in my ear. I can still hear the echo, but I talk over it, and I can watch the meter as it's going. So I know how much time I have to talk. If this was like a music bed or something, or if it was the end of the song, I know how much time by watching this little slider or the remaining time, how much time I got to talk. And I just turn it down on my mixer so I don't get that awful delay, because it's hard to do this with that awful delay. So that's how I do it. And by going straight from the output on the encoder, I'm able to get a much more cleaner sound on Radio DJ. All right, see, Delphin 7 has come in here and has added a monkey to our wrench in this. He wants to know how to insert using MySQL. Oh boy. You know, I probably need to do a couple of videos on that because it is a little bit complicated. But let's go to options and track rotations. And track rotations gives you the ability to add a track using an SQL query. This takes Radio DJ to a different dimension, a whole different level. The reason being is if you know MySQL, if you know how to write it, if you know how to, program it, you can do crazy stuff like play the top song from this week. You can put a query like that. You can put a query to play the top 10 songs. You can do queries such as play only music from the 1970s. Now, that, of course, if all of your MP3s are tagged properly. You can do some crazy stuff with MySQL queries. But as you can see, all I did was I went to track rotations. I clicked on the plus sign and I said track from query. Now, I don't have any queries, so let me, on my other screen over here, let me go to Radio DJ's website and see if they have any samples of a query, and we can paste it in there and see what happens. I do use this, believe it or not. I do use the SQL query on one of my stations. And it does work. It does work pretty good. Let's see. Form, query for requests, specific year. And if you go to their forum, a lot of people, sometimes these people do not give really good answers. They act like you might be a professional in some of this stuff. You can find some really, who is this? No, I don't want that. You can find some really good stuff to try out. Let's see, boom, boom. Union. And it can get complicated. I will tell you this. It can get complicated. And you could probably, if you're not careful, you could damage your database. So I would caution the use of doing MySQL query. I think that's why I don't really post a lot. I don't want people chasing me down. I did that thing and my whole system got jacked up. Okay, let's see. They had a thing in the forum that actually showed you. Let me put this over on the screen so y'all can see it. They actually had in the forum, important frequently asked questions, they had a place where you could try some queries. There's one, how to disable, let's see. Sound card issue settings. What is this? Text file export. Look at that. Mask genre, change genre, category, track man, virus warning. Yeah, you will have to go to their. I'll tell you what. Let me see what I got in my query. Maybe I can copy that over because I do have that on my station. Let me see. Rotations. Gospel, national hits. Query. Yeah, right here's one. Let's see if I can see. Thank you, dear. Okay, here's one. Let me copy this. Put it in a text file and pull it up so you can see what it looks like. Put that in the text file. Yeah, queries is great. You just have to be careful. Because you can wipe out your database. You can do anything. And I hope you guys are using the what is this doing? Hope you guys are using the database thing that I created. You can back up your database. I back up my database in RadioDJ every single night. Every single night. As a matter of fact, just a couple of days ago, that thing helped me save my butt. All right, so put that in there, save that, and then let me go over here and get it. I think I stuck it in here. All right, so here's an example of a query. And this query says select ID, artist, title, and album from the table called songs. We want to enforce the repeat rules. And it says, and song type equals 0. That means it has to be a music file. The song has to be enabled. In this case, I'm selecting from multiple subcategories. And then I'm saying, and the year has to be 2019. So that's the query. So I got a query. It's time for me to update that. Basically, I have a query on my station that says, paste that over here. That says, I want you to go in and from the songs table category, get a song that it has to be a song. We have to enforce the rules. The song has to be enabled. And then I list the different subcategories I want to pull this song from. And then the final command is, well, not the final command. I'm doing it. I want to only pull songs that are from the year 2019. So all of my songs have the years in the metadata. I'm very hard on doing that. And so what this does is, because I'm a BDS station, I wanted a way to make sure I'm playing a lot more current music. And I did this, of course, last year. So I need to change this over in that station to 2020. so that it is pulling them, maybe in 2021. So it's only, this query will only pull the latest songs. Okay, so I would save that, and you can run the query to test. Well, see this. Yeah, this not gonna return anything because this has a bunch of dummy files in there. But I would hit OK, and that will be one of the lines right here in my rotation. And then, of course, you could have, your other rotations. So that's how mine is. I got different categories I'm pulling for, but then I have one line that is a query that does a specific thing. I'm only looking for songs from 2019 that are from these particular subcategories because I don't want any song and I don't want any file. But the songs that's in here in this little sample deal right here, these are royalty-free samples that I just threw in here because I didn't want to be, get knocked off by YouTube. Any other questions? Okay, if you're using a query and it's not doing a song, it's not inserting a song, it could be something wrong with the query. So let's do this. Let me go to one of these tracks because I don't think any of these have the years, and none of these have the year. So let's put a 2019 in this one. Oh shoot, the category number. Where is Heidi? Is Heidi on here? If you don't have Heidi, please make sure you put that Heidi on there because Heidi is what you're going to use to get the information you need to do stuff. Let me see. I think, where is Heidi at? Radio DJ. Oh, she's not on here. Okay. Yeah, I had to redo this system recently, so Heidi is not on here. Heidi is what you would use to go get the category ID. So let me do that real quick. I know she's over here, so let me grab it. Yeah, bear with me one moment. Let me throw some music on. Well, I go find this real quick. MySQL. So I'm gonna install Heidi real quick. because to show you this query, okay, launch. To show you this query, I got to get this thing connected. I think it's password. Yes. All right. All right. So let's see. This is RadioDJ 2006. So to do this query, I wanted to be able to pull from a subcategory. So I'm gonna go to subcategory, and I'm in Heidi. I logged into the MySQL. Go here to data. So those songs, I just threw them in there for this event. I think they're all under the 2000. Okay, so they're in the subcategory called 2000s. So I will go over here, and that ID is number 4. So that's the subcategory ID number. So when we go back over here to track rotations, and I edit this query, I'm going to add 4 as one of the subcategories, because these subcategory IDs are for that other station. Songs that are 2009. I'm going to save that. And actually, we just run it, and it should pull back one song. The only song that I put that 2019 in, which is the Chill song. So that's how you test it, by running the query. So if I was to, say, grab another song, one of these new disco songs, and I put in 2019 for the year, and I go back to that query under rotations, edit it, and I run it, I should have 2 songs in there now. Well, not that. Oh, well, yeah, I should have. Okay, it's giving me, oh, that's right, the limit is 1. So let me put the limit on, because I'm only choosing 1. Let's put the limit on 5, and then that should show me both. Show me quite a few songs. So I got quite a few songs in there that does have 2019 in the year field. And as you can see, here's the results. So that lets me know that if I was to run this in the rotation, that it will work. Okay. Hope that helps. Okay, awesome. I wouldn't use AutoCast, and I wouldn't use EdgeCast. They are very outdated, and they doing exactly what you're saying. They fail. Let's see. Okay, the question is there a way to stream from a live radio broadcast without the port number? Not that I know of, because the port number is how these companies separate you from your client of theirs. So that's how they separate your stream, your Shoutcast or Icecast stream from the others. That port number is what does it. And so you might have 1,000 people on sign up to your company to stream. They all going to have the same URL, but the port number would be different. So every time a server is created, the software that does that looks for an empty port number, finds one, and it assigns it to you. So you have to have the port number. Now, sometimes you can use like noip.com, and you can point a stream to a no IP. Let me see. You can point it to a no IP address, and that doesn't have the port number because you are basically changing the way it grabs information. Let's see if we can get in here real quick. I use this a lot because when stream companies don't want to act right, hey, I'll switch up on you in a minute. So I use this right here to redirect, so to speak. Like I got NIA radio, and see, as you see the port numbers and things, and All of that is in here, but I'm only using this URL in the player, or I may get this URL to another stream. Like say somebody want to rebroadcast my stream, I may give them this, and this will work in Radio DJ. And what happens is when they add this as one of the tracks as a stream, it actually redirects to the actual, URL port and what do you call that? Mount point. So if you don't want to give people all of that information, you could use something like this. And also sometimes I put these in my pop-up players. I would use this URL versus using this URL. And then that way, if I do change streaming companies, I just come here and modify this. And this right here is inside of the pop-up player, so it never changes. I also use it sometime in these radio directories, because the worst thing you can do is submit your stuff to 50 different directories, and they all accept you, and you're going good, and then you change up streaming companies. Now you got to go to all 50 of them and, and request a modification. Some of them will receive this, like TuneIn just denied me. They say they don't use anything coming from servermp.com. So I have to give them the actual stream numbers for it to work. Okay, someone asked, what mixer do I use? You guys know how it is when you got family. I had a room that I was getting ready to pimp out for my radio station. I was getting ready to set that thing up. But be that as it may, a family situation came up and that room became a bedroom for somebody. So I had to move the radio station in here into my recording studio. I have a recording studio. And I didn't want to do that, but it works. So in my recording studio, I'm using the Behringer X32. I use it to monitor, take phone calls, and to talk on air. So this X32 is connected to two computers. One is the radio station, and the other one is, of course, my Cubase Studio One and all of that stuff. And I run 4 stations on one computer. And so I use Voicemeeter Banana to monitor those stations. Basically, I'm using virtual cables to go straight from Radio DJ straight to the SE caster. And I use Voicemeeter Banana to listen to the station that I need to listen to. And the output of Voicemeeter Banana comes up on a fader on the mixer, so that I can in real time listen to that station. And then like if I want to talk on any of those stations, like I told you, I use the input button. So the input button on all 4 stations are connected to the same sound card, because I'm not going to be talking on all 4 at the same time. So it's okay to do that. So whatever station I decide to talk on, when I hit the input button, it's going to get a signal, an output signal from the mixer with just my voice only going over to the input of that particular sound card. So all stations access that one sound card. So I can talk on any station at any time. And again, like I say, if I need to talk, I just turn the level down that Radio DJ is on so I don't hear that echo. What do I need to play live to my Radio DJ live to my station? You're gonna need Radio DJ. I would recommend a virtual audio cable if you don't want to do all this extra stuff that you have to do. And you need some type of encoder. A lot of people like to use BUT. I like to use SE Caster. Some people use AltaCast. Some people use EdgeCast. Sam Broadcaster has a standalone encoder. To me, it's too much money, especially when you got a lot of really, really great options out here that are for free. Now, I'm going to tell you another reason why I really, really like SE Caster. I don't think BUT does it. I know MB Recaster does it. Empire or SE Caster has this little button right here. And when you click on that button, what will come up is plugins. Let me go fix it. I don't know if plugins in here. And those plugins can be inserted and you know, stuff like Stereo Tool, which I like, but I can't use Stereo Tool. No, I'm going to SE Caster. I can't use Stereo Tool because I got 4 stations and Stereo Tool is a hog. So I have a little plugin called Octimax. It's on my website at Carter Scripts. You can download it for free. It's all it is a DLL, and you will put that in the plugins folder. And what it does is it makes your output much higher. I think it's under this disc right here. So what I'm doing now is I'm telling SE Caster where the plugin is for SE Caster to use. I like to keep the plugin inside of the folder. I think I'm using this one. There it is. All right. So I'm using this SE Caster May 20. That's when I downloaded it. So I've created a plugins folder inside of SE Caster, and inside of that folder, you see I've got some things I was testing out. At the stereo channel, which is pretty cool. If it'll come up, no, that one won't come up. Okay, so take that one off. This is what I use on all 4 of my stations now. It's called Octimax. Bring it over into the other window. And see now when I was talking before, see how my voice is now up in the red, which is where you want it to be. There's no bypass. Yeah, it is right here. So if I turn Octimax off, look, I'm still talking. I didn't change anything. I just disabled Octimax. Look what my level is. You know, so on all my stations, I use this because it sounds good. And what it does when you turn it on, see, boom, it brought my levels up high, which is where you want it in the red. Because believe it or not, the peak is beyond the red. So being in the red is not a problem. So now let's throw a music track on real quick so you can see this doing what it's doing. This is one of the main reasons I really, really like using SE Caster. All right, so right now SE Caster is getting the input. So I'm gonna change it to get the output because I think RadioDJ is playing through the output. So let's switch it to that. Okay. Not that one. All right, so that's the music playing right there. I'm gonna turn my mic off. Watch what happens when I engage Octimax. So when you're broadcasting, that's where you want to be. That's where you want your levels to be. And so one of the things I love about Sound SE Caster is I can add plugins, Winamp plugins in particular. I can add Winamp plugins to get that beefed up sound that I want. Let's see what else is in here. And then if you're somebody that likes to use like VST plugins, I think, not that one. What is this? ESP, VST. Yeah, this one. This plugin will let you actually go and get VST plugins, like some of the waves stuff. And you can use that in SE Caster. I don't like to do it. To me, Octimax does wonderful job. It doesn't overtax the CPU. So I just stick with Octimax because it just works so well. See if we got any other questions. Yeah, awesome. If you can post in the chat where they can go and get your SQL query. That'll be nice. I definitely would check it out. All right, so Rail wants to know how to insert the logo. All right, so let's do that. Of course, Radio DJ, you have to stop it. So let's do that. We'll stop it. And let's close Heidi. Let's close this. So let's go back to the Radio DJ folder. And that thing on the background, that's the almighty Behringer Wing. I have the Behringer X32, but I got my eyes set on the Behringer Wing because I need a complete DAW controller to control Cubase. Okay, the logo. All right, in the root directory of Radio DJ is a file called logo.png. Where you at? You're hiding from me. There you go. All right, so this is the logo PNG that shows up in the top right corner. If you right click on and do properties and go to details, you can see the size of it. So the dimensions is 200 by 73. Okay, so what I recommend is whether you use Paint, Photoshop, or whatever, when you create the logo, create it based on that size and then come in here and replace it. So I think I have a logo already done. Let me see. Yeah, I got that one. So let's grab that one. So I'm gonna grab this logo, and you have to turn off Radio DJ in order to switch out the logo. That's why I turned it off. And I'm just gonna paste this. It has to be the exact same name, exact same type of file, logo.png. And I'm gonna replace that. So now when I start Radio DJ, let's get back over here in this screen, sir. You'll see the Roderick Carter live because that's what I created. Okay, but won't say Radio DJ, it says Roderick Carter live. So that's how you change that. So all of my 4 stations have their own unique, and I have to do that. And I even have the colors. The colors are even unique. I have to do that because if I don't, I'll be thinking about one station and screw up and do something stupid. Do I know if there is a mix plugin to mix between songs? No, I don't. I will say this, the guy that created Radio DJ, he got in trouble when someone created the streaming plugin in version 182. The guy that created Radio DJ did not create that streaming plugin. However, in his country, he got in trouble because they accused him of using that in his program without a license. So that's why you can't get it in version 2.0. And he also took away the ability for people to create plugins, which is a bummer because people started creating some really great plugins. But the only thing we have in the standalone version is the audio processing. It doesn't control the mix between the songs. It controls the volume. You can put a compressor to help even out songs and even out peaks. You got an EQ to kind of shape it a little bit, and then you got an automatic gain control. I'm trying to think. Let me go over the options because I thought there were some settings. I don't bother them because I'm okay with the changeovers that Radio DJ does. But there are some people that's not. Like here, you can adjust the fade out duration. Which could help, I guess, in how the songs transition. Then you have a silence remover. This probably could, if you play with this, you probably could find like this mix threshold, maybe playing with that might give you what you're looking for. Again, I don't mess with any of that because I'm happy with the way it sounds. But I would start there under the silence remover and up at the top, the fade out duration. I would start there. Maybe you can tweak those and maybe get what you're looking for in terms of how it mixes between songs. Okay, do we have any other questions? Let's talk about some of these other things. Everybody knows about the instant players, how you can go and grab something and put it in the player. You can also give it a color. And you can also save it as a different set. You can come down here and save it as a set. You know, maybe Kim is one of your people and she has her own set. So you can you can create a cart for Kim. And when Kim comes in the morning, she could do it. She can set up her cart. Maybe her cart has a lot of political sound bites or something in there. You can set up her cart so that when she comes in the morning and do her show or evening, whatever she does, her carts load up for her. And let's go down and get some music. I like to have something in the background. So her carts load up for her. She can do it manually, or you can program RadioDJ to switch over to her carts when her show starts. That's a wonderful feature that I love about RadioDJ. And these carts can be as many or as little as you want. I'm sure many of you know that. So if I go to plugins and I go to instant players, you can also separate this and put it on a whole different window if you got two monitors. And if you got like a MIDI controller, you can actually you can set it up to trigger all of these cards, just like a real radio station card. So let's say if I took it down to only 4 columns and only 4 rows. Okay. So that gives me less cards and they're bigger. You know, so you can control that. I mean, you can have 100 carts on here if you want. The manual events is another one of those things that is in the disabled plugins folder that you would have to copy over. Now, the manual events is very, very, very unique. On one of my stations, I have what I call preset request. So let's say somebody calls my line and they leave, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, so-and-so. I want to request such and such, such and such." I take that, edit that, put my voice in there as if I answered the phone, make it sound like I answered the phone. And I make a manual event that does 2 things. It plays them. It plays me saying, "Caller, you on the air." And yeah, I like to request such, 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 such. Okay, we can play that. We get that on. And the song plays right after that. I put those on the manual events. So whenever you create an event and it's manual, let's do it with the say time. So if I come over here and I make this event manual, I think that's what, yeah. So if I set that to manual and I save it, it's supposed to show up over here. And I may have to come out and come back in. It's supposed to show up over there under the manual events. And let's see if that's what it did. Yeah. So I can hit this at any time and it should play.
It's 18:15.
Okay. So these manual events can be almost anything that you can make an event with. You can load up a DJ set, playlists, the TTS. I mean, you can load up a ton of different events, make them manual events, and they will become available like these carts. And just like the other carts, you can have multiple carts. So that's another great feature of Radio DJ. The notes feature, I like to use the notes. Again, that plugin is in the disabled plugin folder. You will have to copy the DLL, paste it into the Radio DJ's plugin folder, and restart Radio DJ, and you will have this. This is great for if I'm doing an interview. I will have my questions typed up on this note, and it will be right there for me to ask them the questions live, which is a beautiful thing. The web browser is another nice feature. This browser is no longer. That ain't good. I have to ask him about that. Let's see, HTTP. What that browser was. So he gonna have to update that. This is good if you got like a chat room. Say like you got a chat room. You can embed the chat room right inside of Radio DJ and communicate. You can probably do your Facebook right inside of here. Let's see if Facebook will show up. I know a lot of you guys like to do Facebook. So yeah, so you can have your Facebook page show up in here and you can interact with people on your Facebook page right inside of Radio DJ without having to open up another window. The online request, I use that on one of my stations. It is beautiful. I would have to do a video. Matter of fact, I don't. I don't know if I have one on how to use Radio DJ. But it's a beautiful feature. It'll show you all of the requests here, and you can do things like once a request comes through here, you can have a sweeper category set for requests so that when that song plays, it plays a sweeper over the top of it when it plays. So that's good to know. And then, of course, you have to set it up on your website. Now, that's where it gets tricky. But I did find a workaround. What it is when you use the connection to your database, a lot of your hosting server people, they hate that. They hate it because people can hack them. And so they block it completely. And so for a long time, I just didn't have my request thing going. But now I do. Let's see. And I also use for charts. But to do that, you have to be connected to your database. And I made it so that people have to log in. That's how you build your membership up, by the way. And I use WordPress as my my website platforms. I like WordPress because did it change? Yeah. Don't be playing with me. I like using WordPress because if I want to change the website up, I can change it. So I want to log in here and go back to the site and show you the request function. I did several things that I built. Okay, so now now that I'm logged in, I can request a song. So let's go over to the request a song. It's not going to go to the station, the Radio DJ I have. That one is my test one. This will go over to my main site. So as you can see, it lists the first 50 songs, and then you can search for any song. And then when a person clicks on request, they put their name in. So Amanda, the message is optional when they send the request. And now on my main station, that request is over there. It's going to get played. To do that, you have to be able to connect to your MySQL database. So the workaround I found was to use port 80 on the router. I thought that if I did that, it would disrupt my internet but it didn't. And it worked because the hosting accounts cannot block port 80. Everybody and everything uses port 80. So they can't block that. So that's how I get around that. Also, I created a song tracking database, which I charge people a little small fee, $5 for a 30-day access. And what this does is it lets them go in, search for their song, see how many spins they had in the past 7 days and the last time it played. And if I wanted to, I could put how many listeners have heard it and all of that. But I'm debating on whether or not I want to do that. Also, on the ad tracking, I did the same thing with people that buy radio ads. I wanted a way for them to go in to see if I'm playing their ads and how many spins they had and the last time it played. So these are the ads that are in there. It's about 3 pages worth. Some of them are radio station ads, promos, things of that nature. And I charge for that too as well. Then the charts, I have the Hot 100 Gospel chart, which shows the top 100 most played songs in the past 7 days. I keep it 7 days back so that it's constantly being changing and updating. I need to take my Black histories out of that. So I need to code it so that those don't show up. I need to do something different with those so those don't show up. I just want songs. I don't want commercials or whatever. But I see my Black histories are showing up. So any other questions? Am I going to add new videos on how to use RadioDJ? Yes, I do. I need to add some version 2.0 videos. I need to add some, just some more videos, more content videos. There's a lot that can be done. I work third shift, so it's a little tough sometimes for me to constantly keep this thing up. But yes, I am planning to add more videos. Let's see. Hey, Tivian. It's one of my clients. Tivian, you know how to contact me. Same thing, same way. What I probably need to do is like my charts and stuff is just package them together and make them available, people. And then I also have genre charts because now this station is all gospel, and I've segregated, or he's not supposed to be there. I've segregated the gospel based on the genre that I set for the songs, so that I can make these charts. Like, this is alternative gospel, and I do the top 50. I got Christmas songs, Christian chart, Christian rap chart, contemporary gospel, gospel jazz, gospel quartet. So they're broken down into different categories. Just things that that I think would cause more people to keep coming back to the website. As radio station owners, we're always trying to look for ways to get people to stay connected to the radio station, and this is one of the ways that I try to do that. And people like the charts too, and they only go back 7 days, so it is constantly updating. Tomorrow, it's looking for the most played songs in the past 7 days. All right, any other questions before I close out for today and get back into bed and get ready for work? I still work third shift. But I wanted to try this. I've never done this before. I've never done a live video, a live feed before. And I said, you know what? Let me try that. I've never done that before. And so I wanted to try that. Let's see what we got here. Well, thank you, Awesome. I hear that a lot. to be honest with you, I started out with Radio DJ. Not Radio DJ, Sam Broadcaster. I started out with Sam Broadcaster years ago, and it just kind of snowballed. So I said, you know what, let me make a website, let me make some video tutorials. And it got to the point where I was getting phone calls in the middle of the night from Spain, Scotland. I was like, what in the world's going on? And some people they told me that Spatial sent them to me. And I'm like, what? Okay. All right. How do we contact you offline? You can contact me at carterscripts.com or howtouseradiodj.com. That will have my information. You can email me at niaradio@gmail.com. Do I like StreamYard? This is the very first time that I saw other people using it, and this is the first time that I'm using it. Now, I like it, but as you can see, you can't get close on stuff. I don't know if there's anything that will allow me to zoom. Now, I know when it comes to websites, I can hold down the control and hit the plus key on my number pad, and that'll bring up a website, make it bigger. But other stuff like Radio DJ, I can't make it bigger on the screen. It is what it is, and I don't like that. Any of you who ever seen any of my tutorials, I like to get in on it so you can see what I'm doing. I can't do that with StreamYard, but I do like StreamYard, and some of the features, they charge for it, and that's cool. I don't do enough live to justify me paying the monthly fee. If doing live became something that a lot of people wanted, then I'll upgrade. I like StreamYard. I wanted to try it, and today was my very first time trying it, and you guys are awesome. I thank you guys for coming out and checking it out. Because, I say, well, I'm going to do this. I don't care if it ain't but 2 people. I said, I don't care if it ain't but 2 people. I'm going to do this. I want to try this. I want to have fun doing this. Let's see. Any other questions before I go? Again, I really do thank you guys for being a part of this. I should have did an e-blast because I have over 1,000. I have over 1,000 broadcasters in my database. I didn't do an e-blast. I should have probably did an e-blast. Most of them use Radio DJ. Sam Broadcaster, but a lot of them do use Radio DJ. And don't forget, if you go to howtouseradiodj.com, that's free. You can sign up. I had to do it that way because I'm using copyrighted music and they won't let me post that on YouTube. Okay, Sam. Sam is a good tool. Most people, the problem they have with Sam Broadcaster is when they first install it, by default, it installs the Firebird database. That database is a horrible database. You have to really, if you're going to use Sam Broadcaster, you need to install MySQL or Maria database, because Firebird is a nightmare. By the time you hit, I think, 800 to 1,000 songs, that thing starts crashing out. Who is this? When will I do the next webinar? I don't know. Saturday seems to be the best time, because I can get a little nap in after getting in off from work. I can do this, and then I can get back in bed and get the rest of my sleep. So I don't know. I wanted to just try it out and see if people like it and if it's helpful. That's the main thing. It has to be helpful. Then I'll do that. So What I'll probably do is do a video asking people if you have any questions. Like when this video is done, if you have any questions, post them. That'll give me what to do if I do another one of these. I'll be prepared to answer those questions. This I did off the fly and just wanted to see. I saw everybody else doing these live things, and this is my first one. And again, I just want to thank you guys for coming out. From Brazil, radio, what is that? I don't want to mispronounce. Flashback total. All right. Thank you, brother or woman. I don't know. So you guys, again, I appreciate it. Give me some thumbs up. Give me some likes. And maybe we can make this something that happens on the regular. I don't know. We can probably make this. This is fun. I like this. And anybody that knows me, I'm all about helping people. I thought about doing this on the Sam Broadcaster channel as well. So anybody that knows me, I like to help people. And one of the reasons why I started making tutorials is because I'm getting phone calls from all over the world and I'm repeating myself. I was like, man, there's got to be a better way. So that's when I turned to YouTube and started making videos. And that has slowed down the phone calls dramatically because a lot of people can now access those videos and get going, and they can have wonderful radio stations. RadioDJ is a wonderful tool. I love it. If you ever listen to my station, man, I hear so many good compliments about it. By the way, the station is NIARadionetwork.com. That's the flagship station. Then I have RealPeopleTalkRadio.com. And the new one, the tryitcomeup.com, that's for local artists. That's a new one. I got to build that station. I want to build that station locally. Plays all genres of music. As you can see, I'm trying to get close to the screen because I can't see that far away. Oh, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Thank you a lot for posting it on your Discord server. That's another thing. My son is 9 years old. He's got a Discord server. He's using it. I don't know nothing about that. As technical as I am, what do they do on Discord? I guess they post videos. I know a lot of gamers use it because that's what he's doing with it. He's doing gaming. I have no idea what people are doing with Discord. I'm going to look into that. Like I said, I'm not used to doing live videos, but if it's helpful to people, that's cool. Plus, I charge you $20 an hour for logging into your system and helping you. And so this is one way you can kind of get some of your questions answered in real time and live. And so I thought, that's pretty cool. Well, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. It is 6:33 my time, Eastern Standard Time. That's some good time to eat some food and lay it down and get ready to go to bed. Let's see. George Hayden working. Welcome. I don't own RadioDJ. So I don't think he's, again, I think, George, you're just getting here. So he got in trouble. The guy that created RadioDJ got in trouble in his country, which is it Belgium? No, Romania. He got in trouble in his country because he allowed someone to make a plugin that does MP3 encoding. If you're going to do that, you have to have a license. And apparently the guy that created that plugin did not get a license. So the guy that created RadioDJ got in trouble with his government because his application was using something that was not licensed. So he has decided not to support any plugins that will do MP3 or AAC streaming of any type. So this is why now everyone has to use a standalone encoder. That's the reason why everybody has to do that. Hope that helps, George. Okay, before I go, there was a question on how to schedule a pre-recorded show for an hour. Now, whenever you schedule something, you don't necessarily schedule it for the time it runs. Like if it's pre-recorded, whatever the pre-recorded length is will be the time. So if it's a 2-hour show, when you load it up, it's going to run for 2 hours. And at the conclusion, it'll go back to the rotation, loading tracks from rotation. So let me quickly, before I go, let me see if I can find some type of program. Let's see where can I find a program? Oh yeah. All right. I'm gonna use one of Pastor Sam's programs. Okay. All right. So this is how I do programs. The first thing I do is I create a category. So let me go to options and categories. Now I'm gonna go down here under shows, and I'm just for this demonstration, I'm gonna use Pastor Sam's, one of his shows. So I'm gonna make a category called Pastor Sam. Okay. And I'm gonna do that because I want to load his stuff into his own category. So I'm gonna go to track import and go and get one of his shows, or maybe a couple of his shows. Pastor Sam. Okay, these ain't the final. Let me go get one of the finals. Those are the ones I gotta edit. Okay. All right, so this is one of his shows called Position Yourself. And I'm gonna make sure I put that in radio shows, and I'm gonna put that in his category. I'm not gonna worry about the genre. It's already got metadata. So I'm gonna import that in. All right. So now if I go over to that, you'll see he has a show in there. And let's load another one because they're different lengths to show the difference. So let's do this 13-minute show. Radio show Pastor Sam. Let's go get that one. And then let's go and get this one, which is the second part. It's 8 minutes. Okay. So now you see he has 3 shows in it. Now, I want to schedule that. I'm going to go to my events, which is the big bar down here. I'm going to click the plus green sign to bring up the events. And I'm going to call this Pastor Sam. The name of the show. And of course, you know how to schedule time, but if you don't, let's do this. One time only means just one time. You set the date, you set the hour and the minutes. It's going to run one time. One of the features I love about RadioDJ is repeat by date. Wow. So like if I had Valentine's, if I wanted to do a running event that runs every 2 hours that had Valentine drops or something. Oh, let me get big on the screen. Y'all can't see that. I could set this to run every Valentine's Day and put my time in, and every Valentine's Day this event will run. I love that about RadioDJ. All right, so let's go by date and hour. And today is Saturday, so I'm going to uncheck everything except today. Today is Saturday. And it is currently 6:39. That's 1800. I'm going to uncheck everything. Recheck it. 1800. And let's set this for 41 so you can see what happens. And what I want to do is I'm going to go. I don't like to use load track from track because it's going to get the same one every time. So I do load track from category. That way it can select different things in there. And if I want it to rotate what's in there, I'm going to make sure I do least times played and repeat rules and add that action. Okay. Add the action. Now we see it in there. So we're going to add the event. So now you can see. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Hurry up. I need one more command, the play command. So I go to action and I add start playing. That's going to be the last line, play. Okay. What that does is, as soon as this load up, bam, it starts playing. We got 12 seconds. I don't know which one of these is going to grab. And as you can see, I'm in repeat mode up here. I'm going to see what happens. It should kick that out, of course.
It is not over for you. It's not over for Sarah. Now it's over for Abraham.
Okay.
It is not over for this society that says.
So you see, it kicked out. It even kicked it out of repeat mode and started playing the show right away.
That our life will be changed.
All right. So as you see, I don't have a rotation. So that's why stuff is not loading up automatically. I didn't create a rotation for this presentation. So let's say I did have a rotation loaded up. There will be files loaded up in here ready to go. Now, the one that it chose happened to be the 8-minute one. So it's going to play the 8-minute one based on the fact that it's 8 minutes long. So if it's an hour show, it will play 60 minutes because the show itself is 60 minutes. So you don't necessarily have to schedule the in and outs of the hours. You just need to schedule when it starts if it's pre-recorded. Now, if it's a stream, then you have to do something different. So what happens when it gets to the end of this? Let's click on here. If you ever want to jump, see this green line. If you ever want to fast forward something real quick, just go to the end. This red line is the 10-second mark. So I'm going to jump just before the red line, and it's going to jump to that.
You are exalted. So we want to go to the presence of a God with worship. Now we worship again with presence before him to establish his power of promise.
Okay. Well, I like that. I like that beat. So when his show ended, it just went right back into the rotation that's currently loaded up. I hope that helps in terms of, how to schedule a live show. Can I set up RadioDJ to manually stop or start another person's live stream? Not really, but let me think. Because it's start or stop. Do you mean, TVN, do you mean like if I'm streaming somebody and I want to end it? Is that what you mean? And maybe go get somebody else? Is that what you mean? As far as controlling other people's streams, you can control. I mean, you can shut them off on your station. Like if I'm broadcasting from another stream, I can end it and then pull another stream from another source. I can do that. But that's the only thing I can do on my station. And basically all you're doing is, the thing with streams is streams have no ending point. And so when you load a stream, that stream is going to run all the time until you have a command. You can use something as simple as just the play command. You come down here, you might have one. Yeah, RadioDJ is powerful. There's several ways you can do this. You can have an event that loads up a stream coming from somewhere else, right? And then you could also, you could say, okay, this stream lasts an hour. I don't like to use this, but an hour is what, 60 minutes times 60 seconds per minute. I'm not good at math, y'all. Well, I'm just too tired. My brain is tired. I ain't had a lot of sleep. So 60 times 60, it's going to give us like what, 36? So 3,600 seconds is my argument. And I can add this seconds to wait as a command, right? So the first line, might have the stream. Let's just get one. I don't have no stream. So let's just get one of Pastor, what's called this? One of his. Let's say his was a stream. That will be the first line. I'm going to load his stream up. And then to make sure it starts on time, my next command is a play command. That starts his stream on time. Then the next command says, wait 3,600 seconds, which is roughly right at an hour. Then I would need another play command after that 3,600 seconds. And what this play command would do is it would kick that stream out and go back to whatever's in the queue. That's one way to do it. I'm leery of the seconds to wait. It works flawless. Now, when I tell you RadioDJ is no joke, it works flawlessly. But we all know sometimes streams get dropped and you have to maybe load it back up. I know people that will load up like 20 instances of the stream. You will see 20 lines of the stream. They might have the stream, a song, string, a song, string, a song, or a string, station ID. They'll do that because they're hoping that if the first line of the stream drops, then it'll play a song. They're hoping the stream will be back. After that song ends, it'll try to load the stream again. Now, if there's no problems with the stream, then everything is good. I don't like to do that. Most of the streams I pull are pretty reliable these days. Streams are pretty reliable. So I don't like to use the seconds to wait, because if the stream drops, then this becomes a problem. This waiting 3,600 seconds becomes a problem. So what I like to do is I just have to have two different events. I have one event to load the stream, and then I have another event to say, hey, I want to end the stream at such and such time. So if it's an hour stream, the first stream loads the stream, or the first event loads the stream, then I'll have a second event with just the play command, which will kill that stream, so to go back to regular programming. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes my thinking is kind of out of the box. So that's how I do live streams. All right, so if that's it, I think I'm going to call it a day. My wife has brought me my lunch or my dinner, and I am going to eat this, take a shower, and go to bed. Again, thank you guys for joining in. Please hit the like button, subscribe, notifications. And if you got any questions, go back to this video and post them in the comments so that I will know whether or not I need to do another live stream to answer your questions. I wanted to do live streams to answer people's questions. And I hope I got some things clear with you guys on today. With that being said, again, thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it. So I'm going to sign off and wish you all happy broadcasting all this week. Talk to you guys later.